BBC Two, it's Newsnight with Gavin Esler.
Going nuclear, will it tear the Green movement apart? Tonight, one of Britain's leading environmental activists says he no longer cares whether nuclear power is in our future. Stopping new coal-fired power stations to cut carbon emissions should be the top priority, argues George Monbiot. So, is accepting nuclear power environmental heresy or common sense? We'll debate. The government bails out Northern Rock to the tune of £3 billion. Is this the deal the taxpayers were promised? The not-so-short list. Who might the two men fighting to become US President pick as their running mates? We'll try to narrow it down. Was there a deal with the Mehdi army in Basra? And if so, how long did it last? And cyberspace in China. How free, how important, how revolutionary? We're continuing our China season tonight ahead of the Olympics with one of the most remarkable developments in recent years, the internet, in a country where traditionally many people never left their home village, certainly didn't leave their home province. So how has all this changed China? How subversive could it prove to the rule of the Communist Party? Paul Mason's been exploring China's cyberspace. Be warned that some of the online views expressed in this piece are offensive.
Last week, amid uproar from visiting journalists, China's President Hu Jintao decided to unblock some banned websites.
The Chinese government and the Chinese people have been working in real earnest to honour the commitments made to the international community.
The Chinese internet is censored, patrolled and, uniquely in the world, an instrument for repression instead of freedom. But there are gaps in the system, and if you know where to look, you'll find Chinese people having the most open conversation in living memory. And it's massive. There are 70 million bloggers in China. 5 years ago, there were exactly 2,000. Hu Jia is one of them. This year, he was sentenced to 3.5 years for, his lawyer told waiting supporters, inciting subversion of state power and the socialist system. His crime was to publish articles about the rights of peasants, HIV and democracy. And he's not the only one.
Well, to see the dark side of the force, we created on our website, a scale of people being imprisoned because they published something on the net. We know that, we recorded that for this year, around 67 people have been jailed. Because of the use of internet, because of the free speech. Amongst them, we know that 50 are from China.
If jailing bloggers was an Olympic sport, China would win gold, silver and bronze. Chinese internet censorship is a wonder of the modern world. Its first line of defence is provided by internet companies, some Western-owned, who comply with it. The second line is an estimated 30,000 internet police who take down unwanted content. There are even avatar policemen who pop up on your desktop every 30 minutes to remind you that subversion is a crime against the state. Meet Jing Jing and Cha Cha. This man is one of the people the internet police don't want you to read about. A Tiananmen-era dissident, he now monitors the rise of the Chinese internet citizen, or netizen, from exile.
So what we see here in the Chinese cyberspace, it's really a drama unfolding. We have the Chinese Communist Party trying to monopolize all the political power, including information on the media and on the internet. We also have the increasing number of Chinese netizens who become bolder and bolder to express themselves, which together created a new kind of political discourse and public opinion online.
Chinese internet censorship is based on the written word, but Chinese internet users are increasingly turning to pictures. And here are some of the pictures. Six weeks ago, in Guizhou province, a full-scale uprising took place against the Chinese Communist Party. It started after protesters accused the authorities of covering up the rape and murder of a teenage girl. And it ended with this.
Tens of thousands of the commentaries that flooding through the Chinese internet forums and blogs. Even the internet police was immediately on their job trying to delete all of such information. But the more they deleted, the more comments coming back and more photos being circulated. Within a matter of hours, it became a real public event in China.
These pictures are taken from two separate mobile phones in the same crowd, and as you can see, many people are walking around pointing mobiles and digital cameras. What's turned footage like this into political dynamite is the ability to post it on social networking sites like YouTube. But that's only half the story, because people are also using this technology to have massive arguments with each other using webcams. And what's kicked it all off has been the Sichuan earthquake. It started with this young woman in the affluent coastal city of Liaoning. Bored by wall-to-wall quake coverage from her internet cafe, she publicly insulted the victims. Be warned, it's offensive.
All of you Sichuanese that died in the earthquake, what is it? How many? There are so many of us Chinese. Does it really matter if a few thousand die? It's blessing, you bunch of stupid. Why should we give you aid and donations? What's so special about you? Are you good looking, you lazy scroungers?
Now, look how many people have seen this. Over 600,000 for this copy of the clip alone. And there are many more copies. In reality, millions have heard this, and many have pitched in. This man's riposte begins calmly, but soon he's giving vent to feelings many Chinese people share, and he also doesn't spare the Mandarin version of the F word.
If my mate saw you, he would take out his knife and cut you up. Are you satisfied? If you had any guts, you would give us your name and address. Remember, Chinese people always pull together to overcome adversity. You are a bleeding you.
Dozens of others have joined in. This young woman's contribution is so profane as to be unbroadcastable. And this debate has been viewed by millions of people, possibly tens of millions. The furore of the Liaoning girl speaks to big issues for Chinese people. The divide between peasants and urban people, racism against Sichuanese, cynicism over the official coverage of the earthquake, which has been heavily censored.
London, BBC, 英國廣播電台.
The BBC's own Chinese language website has only been unblocked for less than a week.
It's true, China is still a one-party state, but on the other hand, the Chinese internet users, they do feel they are enjoying quite a degree of freedom in what they can say, what they can debate, discuss. And very often, the mainstream media, the traditional media, do pick up what's being so heatedly debated in the cyberspace and push the agenda to the authorities and to the general audience.
And while the risks for the few open dissidents are large, risks for the many are small.
This is what we call the crowd effect, that one piece of information can be copied and circulated in a variety of ways. So it's very hard for a central controller to control all of such contents. The direct impact of that is the individual netizens has a very low political risk if they simply just pass upon some information.
The Chinese internet, like Chinese society, is at a crossroads. The old deal, lots of personal freedom, minimal political freedom, is fraying at the edges, and bear this in mind. With 250 million users, the Chinese internet is the biggest in the world. But there's another billion Chinese people yet to go online. When they do, the result could be awesome.
Amazing there with the expletives deleted. Tonight we also